over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
There is a moment of truth in the world of automobiles and technology. Tesla, once the undisputed leader in the world of electric cars, is facing new challenges every year. But what if I told you that a company that has long lagged behind in the electric car race is actually preparing something so revolutionary that it could completely change the game? Toyota, which has long preferred to cautiously follow trends and develop hybrid technology, is now ready to make a name for itself in the world of all-electric cars. And most interestingly, what they are developing could challenge the whole concept of electric cars as we know them.
So there are a couple of things that might be going on here. So on the one hand, it could be that just at a very basic level, Musk has quickly observed a 40% decline in sales in Tesla in Europe.
Imagine the situation. We all know that Tesla, under the leadership of Elon Musk, has unleashed a true revolution in the automotive market by creating stylish, fast, and, most important, desirable electric cars. However, like any technology company, Tesla faces a number of challenges. Problems with build quality, production delays, and disruptions to new model launches are familiar headlines for Tesla. And now, Toyota, with its years of experience, is quietly and confidently developing a game-changing technology behind the scenes. But how have they managed to keep it from everyone? What's behind this technological breakthrough?
And police in Italy are investigating possible arson after a fire destroyed more than a dozen Tesla vehicles. Elon Musk is calling the incident at a Rome dealership terrorism. This comes as Tesla has been the target of recent protests around the world.
Have you ever wondered how realistic the future is without the lithium batteries that now form the basis of almost all electric cars? Toyota has taken it a step further and introduced a revolutionary technology: solid-state batteries. Not only do these batteries charge faster, but they are also much more durable and, importantly, much less prone to degradation, making them ideal for mass production. Compare this to Tesla batteries, which lose their capacity after a few years and become increasingly expensive to replace. So what's going on? Why are more and more experts and analysts starting to wonder if the moment has come when Toyota might leave Tesla behind? And what, after all, made Elon Musk so frustrated that he couldn't resist a temper tantrum in a meeting with Toyota's top executives? A nerve-wracking situation is not something common in the business of such giants.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
Today, we're going to tell you how Toyota's long-awaited unveiling could be a catalyst for change in the global auto industry. How did Elon Musk, with all his ambitions and bold statements, end up in a lose-lose situation? And why does every move Toyota has made in recent years call into question whether the future is really all electric vehicles, as Tesla claims, or hybrids, and all new battery technology after all? Stay tuned to find out what happened in that crucial meeting and why Toyota now stands on the cusp of revolutionizing the world of electric vehicles. In recent years, the electric car industry has been undergoing a real upheaval. At the center of attention, of course, is Tesla, which has literally turned the idea of what the car of the future could be. Under the leadership of Elon Musk, the company has created a unique business that has become a symbol of not only success, but also a revolution in the world of transportation. Tesla created a real storm in the automotive industry by offering its electric cars that combined not only cutting-edge technology, but also incredible customer appeal. However, behind this success, there are also quite a few problems that, as time has shown, put the future of the company and even the entire electric car industry as a whole in doubt. But what if I told you that a company that for a long time seemed unable to offer anything revolutionary in this field might be ready to blaze a new trail that will challenge even Tesla itself? This is Toyota, a company that, despite its cautious policy on full electrification, has its trump cards that could be decisive in the coming years.
Teslas are being torched across the country. Dealerships shot up and set on fire. Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Toyota's story is not just the journey from a small Japanese firm that made textile machines to the world's largest automaker. It is also the story of an amazing ability to adapt and anticipate trends that were often ahead of their time. Unlike many other large companies, Toyota has always pursued a path of gradual and strategic growth without throwing itself into full-on experimentation. They stayed on the side of hybrid cars for a long time, seeing them as the golden mean between traditional gasoline cars and future electric vehicles. In this, they were somewhat too late, and the electric car market was initially completely taken over by Tesla, with its ambitious plans that seemed incredibly bold. However, Toyota, despite skepticism from many experts, went its own way and kept a close eye on changes in the industry.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
In the early 2010s, when Tesla was gaining popularity and its cars were becoming real cults, Toyota was in no hurry to make the full transition to electric cars. However, the fact that the company stayed true to their philosophy and didn't rush the market has actually proven to be the key to their current victory. Unlike Tesla, which relied on lithium-ion batteries, Toyota introduced its own hydrogen fuel cell concept as early as 2014. The move seemed risky and not entirely justified at the time, but as it later turned out, it was strategically correct. Over the next few years, the company continued to improve hydrogen technology and also actively developed hybrid cars with the ability to be charged from the electric grid. This approach allowed Toyota to carve out a niche where competition was much less fierce, while ensuring the long-term sustainability of the business. However, even though it was cautious, Toyota couldn't help but notice and appreciate Tesla's success. When Musk's electric cars started gaining popularity, the company felt that its focus should shift to a future where electric cars would take the lead. In 2019, Toyota began intensive research into new batteries that could solve many of the problems Tesla's electric cars face. In particular, it was about more powerful and longer-lasting batteries that could eliminate the main problem of electric cars, low range and long charging times. As early as 2021, the first rumors surfaced that Toyota could soon unveil its own revolutionary battery technology. These rumors caught the attention of experts and competitors alike. But what about Tesla and Elon Musk? He certainly continued to assert that electric cars were the future and that his company would move forward despite the challenges. However, the competition has become tangible. In 2022, Hyundai launched its first electric car with great performance and a more competitive price, and Ford had an amazing performance with the Mustang Mach-E, which outperformed the Tesla Model Y in many ways. Elon Musk increasingly found himself in a situation where he had to respond to competitive threats and not just promote his own innovations.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government he's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
The political atmosphere also played an important role in this situation. While Tesla was actively developing its autonomous cars and promising rapid improvements in technology, the US government and other world powers were beginning to impose new, stricter regulations on environmental safety. While Elon Musk was constantly stating his ambitious plans, problems with the build quality of his cars, especially in battery longevity issues, were beginning to take a toll on the company's reputation. But was that reason enough for Toyota to come out ahead? The answer turned out to be that Toyota had been carefully preparing its strategy. While the world thought the company was delaying the step towards mass electric vehicles for too long, it was working on perfecting new batteries that would significantly improve the parameters of electric cars. And then comes one of the most important news of the last few years. Toyota, after years of research, has unveiled solid-state batteries. These batteries not only charge in minutes but also have a much longer lifespan than the lithium-ion counterparts used by Tesla and other companies. This means that Toyota's electric cars could become much more fuel-efficient in the long run, as well as avoiding the problem of rapid battery wear and tear. So is this what Toyota is hiding? Instead of following the trend and putting everything on the same page with traditional lithium-ion batteries, the company has chosen the path of in-depth research and development, which, as it turns out, makes it more than ready for the next step in the evolution of electric cars. But what does Musk think with all of this, and why has his nervousness become so evident lately?
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
When it comes to hybrid cars, there is no doubt that the major player in this market is Toyota. The company that first introduced hybrid technology with the Prius model played a key role in establishing this segment, and its success in developing and perfecting hybrids is still unrivaled today. The Prius, launched in 1997, was not just a car, but a true symbol of a new era in the auto industry. It became the first mass-produced hybrid, which showed that it was possible to combine two types of engines, gasoline and electric, without losing power, and on the contrary, significantly improve fuel economy. The Prius didn't just become popular with environmentally conscious buyers, it literally became an icon in the global marketplace, attracting the attention of celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio, who arguably became its most famous owner. It was a real paradigm shift when hybrid cars began to be seen not as a temporary solution, but as an important part of the future. However, despite the successful development of hybrid technology, Toyota remained cautious in its approach, which drew criticism from those who felt that the company should have made a bold move to all-electric vehicles rather than wasting time on further improvements to hybrid models. Unlike Tesla, which from the beginning aimed to create all-electric vehicles and refused to make any compromises, Toyota continued to develop hybrid technology. Musk, as one of the most vocal proponents of full electrification, has repeatedly voiced his displeasure that Toyota is dragging its feet on the transition to electric cars, calling hybrids half-measures. It was a strong criticism from a man who has argued that the future of automobiles lies only in full electric vehicles and the abandonment of gasoline engines.
KTLA's Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
But in fact, Toyota's strategic approach has proven to be very precise and long-term. Not only was the company improving its hybrid lineup, but it was also actively researching and developing batteries in an attempt to overcome the weaknesses of existing technologies. Toyota was well aware that lithium-ion batteries, on which many of today's electric vehicles are based, have their limitations: high cost, degradation issues, durability, and the need for a large charging infrastructure. However, the company was well aware that the introduction of pure electric vehicles was impossible without addressing these issues. Unlike Tesla, which put everything on the cards for electrification, Toyota approached the issue with caution, thinking through every decision. Things started to change in the early 2020s. Toyota announced that it was actively working on developing a new type of solid-state battery that should solve many of the problems listed above. These batteries have a much higher energy density, which means longer life and faster charging. Expectations for this new generation of batteries were huge, and many analysts predicted that if Toyota was able to successfully implement this technology, it would not only outsell Tesla, but set a new standard for the entire industry. And that's where the real race began.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will of course be the surveillance video, and investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off, and 16 cars burned in this fire. And right now, investigators don't know what caused it.
Tesla, meanwhile, continued to develop its strategy with lithium-ion batteries, betting on creating a huge network of charging stations and ultra-fast charging. But as it turned out, problems with build quality, inconsistencies in manufacturing processes, and constant delays in releasing new models began to take their toll on the company's reputation. News about defects in the assembly of Tesla cars, such as poorly fitted panels, software problems, and malfunctioning autopilot system, became more and more frequent. Buyers began complaining about lower than expected battery life, as well as high replacement costs. All of these problems began to add up to a not-so-attractive picture for Tesla, while Toyota remained in the shadows, continuing to work on more efficient solutions. In addition, Tesla has faced a host of other challenges over the past few years, including increased competition. While Tesla used to be the only significant player in the electric car market, major automakers such as Ford, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and even Chinese companies have begun to develop their own electric cars, which sometimes not only outperform Tesla in quality, but also in price. For example, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which was not only faster, but also more comfortable than the Tesla Model Y and offered a more competitive price. All of this led to Tesla having to lower the prices of its cars to stay afloat.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
Meanwhile, Toyota has continued to develop its hybrid technology, which has allowed the company to make significant gains in the market. It had already created models that actively competed with electric cars in terms of fuel economy and overall environmental friendliness. But what's particularly interesting is that Toyota has begun to actively develop hydrogen cars, such as the Toyota Mirai, which uses hydrogen fuel cells instead of batteries, making it a more efficient and environmentally friendly option. Even though hydrogen technology was still in its developmental stages, Toyota confidently continued on its path, which turned out to be the right decision. Tesla, on the other hand, continued to fight for market share, but internal quality issues and delays with new models were beginning to take a toll on consumer confidence. Elon Musk increasingly began to be criticized for his decisions, and his ambitions to develop fully autonomous cars and electric cars with unique features, such as the Cybertruck, failed to live up to expectations. Musk's loud claims about revolutionary technologies and future models began to be seen as empty promises, as none of them ever saw the light of day on time. So what was going on with Toyota during this time? It was working on developing new electric car models that could probably not only compete with Tesla, but also completely change the rules of the game. The company was focusing on producing cars that would not only be low on energy, but also more affordable and durable. In addition, Toyota made a sensational announcement in 2022. They are working on a new electric car model that not only utilizes solid-state batteries, but also supports innovative charging systems, allowing for faster and more convenient battery charging. These developments promise not only improved vehicle performance, but also significant reductions in manufacturing and maintenance costs.
Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Meanwhile, the battle for leadership in the electric car market continued. Toyota and Tesla started their game, but while before it seemed that Tesla was a few steps ahead of everyone else, now things started to change. Toyota could soon become the player that would set the stage for the debate over which type of car would dominate the future. While there were still many questions to be answered before then, the answer could be the defining moment for the entire automotive industry.
We begin with the president's trade war escalating tonight. This evening, the retaliation against the United States, Canada, and the European Union responding quickly, just hours after President Trump's 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States.
However, as it turned out, not everyone at Tesla was ready to put up with such a turn of events. There were rumors on the sidelines that Musk was extremely upset with Toyota's success. Around 2023, the very moment that led to open conflicts between the two companies occurred during an official meeting with senior Toyota executives. Sources close to the events claim that Musk was forced to attend the meeting where Toyota demonstrated its developments in batteries and electric vehicles. The moment Toyota representatives revealed their strategy and showed off their solid-state batteries, it became clear that the company had actually adopted a technology that could completely eclipse all of Tesla's advances for years to come. Musk was shocked and reportedly even lost his temper.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, "Of course, I'm going to respond." And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
In a meeting with Toyota executives, Musk apparently couldn't hide his disappointment. Insiders report that he even started arguing with Toyota representatives, claiming that their new approach to batteries was just sweet promises, nothing more. And at one point, when Toyota executive Koji Sato started talking about the company's long-term strategy, Musk even said that the whole thing was nothing more than a marketing ploy. But that was just the first sign that Musk is increasingly feeling threatened. A source close to the talk said that Musk literally snapped at the end of the meeting saying "fuck you" to company executives before abruptly leaving the room. His colleagues, as well as Tesla executives, were shocked by this behavior. However, it wasn't just nervousness. Musk realized that a future in which he would be the sole leader in electric vehicles was crumbling right before his eyes. After this incident, as Musk walked away from the negotiations, experts began to say that Tesla was at a crossroads. The company, which recently seemed to be the undisputed leader, could now face a real threat from Toyota, which, according to some analysts, was ready to take the title of leader in the electric car market. Toyota relied on quality, long-term development, and a strategy that at some point began to bear fruit. And it was this strategic patience of Toyota that became its real trump card. As a result of this clash of competition, many have begun to wonder what will happen next. Would Musk be willing to take on new model development again to rebuild his reputation? Or would Tesla, with its problems, be doomed to a slow but sure demise from its pedestal? One thing has become clear: Toyota will no longer look at Tesla from the position of an observer. The company had entered a new phase of its history and was ready to fight for leadership in the electric car world with a new, more determined approach. It seems that this was not just a meeting between two companies, but a true clash of two world strategies, each believing that it is their way that will lead to victory. Now, the future of both companies is in the balance, and each will do everything it can to prove that its approach to electric vehicles is the one that will determine the future of the entire industry.